Operation Northwoods, the war that almost was. In the spring of 1962, as the Cold War simmered and the Cuban Missile Crisis loomed just ahead, the United States military drafted one of the most shocking proposals in American history. A plan so bold, so disturbing, that if it had been carried out, it would have rewritten the relationship between the American people and their government. This plan was called Operation Northwoods. At its heart, Operation Northwoods was a false flag blueprint. The idea was simple, yet horrifying. Create acts of terror on U.S. soil, blame them on Cuba, and use the outrage to justify a full-scale invasion. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest-ranking military officers in the country, signed off on it. They weren't talking about minor provocations. They proposed bombings in American cities, hijackings of civilian planes, even the sinking of boats filled with Cuban refugees. To them, these weren't crimes. They were tools. Tools to shape public opinion, tools to whip the nation into a frenzy, tools to justify war. Imagine it. A passenger jet exploding mid-flight, headlines screaming, "Cuban attack!" The truth hidden in a Pentagon file. Imagine families grieving over a ship that never made it to shore, never knowing it was their own government that pulled it under. This wasn't fantasy. This was written down, documented, approved, and sent all the way to the desk of the Secretary of Defense. But here's the twist. Operation Northwoods was never carried out. President John F. Kennedy and his administration rejected it. They weren't willing to cross that line. Some say Kennedy's refusal widened the rift between him and the military brass. Others whisper it painted a target on his back. What's undeniable is this: America came dangerously close to manufacturing its own tragedies in order to start a war. Operation Northwoods remained buried for decades, classified in government archives, until it was finally declassified in the 1990s. When the public read the proposals, jaws dropped. It felt like something out of a dystopian thriller. But it was real. The lesson is clear. Even in a democracy, even in a nation that prides itself on freedom and truth, there are moments when fear and paranoia can twist the minds of leaders, when security becomes obsession, and when war becomes the goal at any cost. So the next time you hear about conspiracy theories or shadowy government plots, remember Operation Northwoods. Because this wasn't rumor, it wasn't speculation. It was an official plan written, signed, and waiting to be unleashed. A war that almost began not with Cuban aggression, but with American deception. This was Operation Northwoods, and it stands as one of the most chilling what-ifs in history.